All right, peace, family, peace. This is Maury Yaakov and ITFTR Network. I'd like to thank you for joining me this day. All praises to the Creator. All praises to the Creator that He has given us another day to be able to come in here, the Word of the Creator. So we thank the Creator for each one of you joining me on this day. I'm gonna put the link in the chat if anybody wants to come and join me with this conversation. About Jesus Christ being the devil. So we thank the Creator for each one of you. In a minute, let me adjust this real quick. I don't know why they keep falling. All right, we thank the Creator for each one of you for joining us today. All praises to the Creator for you, Sister Joanne Smith. All praises to you, Sister Latoya G. All praises. We thank the Creator for each one of you for joining us. This is ITFTR Network. And we thank the Creator for you joining us today. We have some good program that we're going to have today. All praises to the Creator. We have a good program that information that we're going to be bringing out today. And I thank the Creator for the information. But before I go any further, let's go to Shofar. That's the 1 2 1 2. You hear me? Oh, okay. Well, that's something stream y'all got going on there. So we thank the Creator for hold on. Let's see now. Yeah, now. Okay, well, there's some stream y'all got going on. So we thank the Creator for each one of you, of planning out your day. Remember, we have I call it a appreciation day for ITFTR Network for each one of you. Coming up in the next couple of weeks. Shalom to Brother Joel Smith. Shalom. We thank the Creator for you joining us. Make sure as when you come into the building, you press that like and subscribe button. And we thank the Creator for everything. I know we have a lot that that's been going on. A lot been going on. I know a lot of people been sitting back watching the debate and everything else, but we're not going to talk about that today. So let's get on into it. I put some questions. I threw some questions out this week to those who do participate with ITFTR Network, and only but a few came back and answered those questions, and it's okay because It's for the knowledge. It's for the knowledge, and to try to get people to what you call it, build their stance in this walk. Because I had to learn to go further into my studies to really figure out what is taking place around me and in the place where I live, in order for me to stretch out, in order for me to be able to do the things that I need to learn, to be able to pass down from generation to generation. But those who, if you don't have the time to answer, that's fine. It's cool. Life still moves on, and life's still going to what? Continue to do what it needs to do for the will of the Creator. It has nothing to do with us. It's just the will of the Creator. And a lot of times we have to make sure that we are in the right position to be able to receive things that we're supposed to receive in life. So without no further ado, I left off on last week that I had left off on last week that we was talking about the Persians. And the Persians, I told you that the Persians were from Shem. But nobody never came back and said anything to me about, hold on, blah, 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 blah. So I just put out another question this week. Are the Persians mixed people? Are they mixed people? There's a lot of things that I'm not going to just put out. I'm gonna wait to see who responds to me. And that means those who goes back to look at and do the research. But the Persians are mixed people. They are mixed people. And the question is, who are they mixed with? So when we talk about Israel, the Israelites, we have to remember that the Persians had enslaved the Israelites, okay? The Medes and the Persians. In the Medes, the Medes and the Persians tells you exactly who those people are, the Medes and the Persians. But a lot of people, they don't put two and two together, because we don't look at real true biblical history, or a lot of us, we don't do the research to figure out who is the Medes and who's the Persians. Okay. Excuse me. So without no further ado, I'm going to show this right here. This brother here, I'm putting him on. I told him I'm gonna put him up. I'm gonna put him on Front Street today. This brother answered the question. He was supposed to have came on last week, but I told him to wait to go look at my previous interviews that I had with other people, and you see how I conduct my interviews, and then you let me know whether or not if you would like for your information that you are posting and what you have that you call scholarship to be on this channel. And so he agreed. And that's why I mentioned it last week that we were supposed to have a person to come on this week if he agreed. And this is the person right here. And sometimes when we make blanket statements, we have to be very careful at the blanket statements that we make. Is your statement on doctrine, or is your statement on the truth? So before I get into any of his posts that he had posted on Facebook, that's why I snapshot a lot of things, because a lot of people, what they do, when they get offended, they pull a post down. They block you or whatever. So you can't have no more conversations with them because they realize that then what they do, they resort to name calling and blah, 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 blah. They take their ball and go home like a little kid instead of having a grown-up conversation. You know, and a lot of people get offended when you challenge their, what they call scholarship. They get offended. They don't need to be offended. If what you say, you stand on it, you should be able to defend it. That's why I put the link in the chat. Anybody who wants to come up and have a conversation with me on the link in the chat, the link is there. I don't pick my ball up and run. For what? If I believe in the information that I'm putting out, I believe in the information that I'm putting out. I'm going to stand on it. Okay? So before we go any further, let's look at this first video, and they're going to kind of tell you exactly who are the Persians. And then we're going to get into the scriptures to show you the Persians. Okay? So fair use, fair use. This is not my material. This is not my material. This material don't belong to me. I claim the rights to this material. But this material is only for teaching purposes, only educational purposes, only for my people under the Fair Use Copyright Act of 1976, 106. Fair use under the First Amendment speech, even though we don't have it no more, according to the United States Supreme Court, but we're going to still use fair use. All right? So let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. No. Let's do this thing. And let's drop it. Let's go. Fair use.
Channel. Iran is a region full of mysteries and curiosities, especially due to its geographical proximity to what is described as the Garden of Eden in sacred scriptures.
Now let's dodge the hijack. They say that Ryan and all that up there is the Garden of Eden, but I'm gonna show y'all where the Garden of Eden really is. Pretty much, I'm not. This is my opinion. I'm gonna show you a map later on in a lesson exactly where the Garden of Eden is, and according to the scriptures, according to how the rivers flow. Okay, so we're talking about the Iranian people, the Iranians, the Persians, the Iraqians, and all those people up in that area. Let's see who these people are. Let's go.
Situated near Iraq and Assyria, many wonder about the different ethnicities currently inhabiting Iran and their ancestral connections to biblical peoples.
Now remember what he just said. There are different ancestries. So that lets you know that these people are what? Mixed. Okay? There are different ethnicity backgrounds in Iran. Those are not just one people. They are mixed. But let's go.
In this video, I will not only discuss the language of Iranians but also their history, geography, and other relevant aspects. I ask you to like and share this video.
And I want you to remember one thing. I'm not going to, I want y'all to remember Psalms 83. That's what we're going to go to in a second after this video. Psalms 83, verse 4 and 5. We're going to look at the Israelites' enemies. Okay, according to Psalms 83, we're going to look at their enemies. All right, let's go.
With those interested in exploring the geography not only of the Middle East, but also of humanity, in the light of ancient traditions and biblical narratives about people and their origins. This is another episode of our series, The Origin of Peoples According to the Bible. In the sacred texts of the Bible, in the books of Daniel, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and also Ezekiel, there are mentions of the people who resided in the area corresponding to present-day Iran, not only within the borders of the country, but also in the surrounding territories.
So he said that these prophets had mentioned these people. Okay? These prophets had mentioned the Persians. Now we know Daniel, I mean, he said they mentioned the Persians. All right. So we have to pay attention to a lot of times what the prophets have mentioned. we just read the prophecy of Esau, the prophecy of Israel. But no, a lot of these other nations have the prophecies. They was prophesied against and for too. It wasn't just the Israelites and whoever. It was the prophets also mentioned other nations. See, the reason why a lot of us we miss a lot of these prophecies is because, and we don't know who our enemies is because we have stopped listening to the prophets. Who are the prophets? Y'all say IUIC, ISUPK, the truth, or whoever. They ain't no prophets. They reading just like me. They read the book just like me. The prophets have already spoken. So we have to go back and read the books of the prophets and see what they are saying. This is how we get to the bottom and the root of a lot of things that we have that is there in the discrepancy. So let's keep going. Let's go. And the reason why I'm stopping is because of copyright. So I can't just let a video just play straight through. So y'all don't get upset or get offended. I have to kind of stop it with whatever for the Copyright Act. All right, let's go.
This people, or perhaps these two peoples, or even simply the peoples inhabiting the region, are the descendants of Madai, as described in Genesis chapter 10.
So it says these people or two people is considered Madai. Who is Madai? Who are the Madians? Who are the Madians? Or what we call Madai.
Inhabiting the region are the descendants of Madai.
Madai. Who are they? Who are the Madinians? They're in Genesis the 10th chapter. Who lineage the Madinians belong to, or Madai? Who do the Madinians belong to in Genesis the 10th chapter? Madia, or Madinians, or Madia. Who do they belong to? Who are the Madinians or Madai? Put in the chat. Put it in the chat. Japhet. What verse, sis? What chapter? I mean, what chapter? We know we in the 10th chapter. What verse? Madai belongs to Japhet. Genesis 10:2. Now the names of the 12 apostles are, hold on, that's Matthew. Why did I put this there? Hold on, this thing acting up. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and read it.
Shalom, family. I'm going to go ahead and read Genesis 10. It says, now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood, the sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madiah, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus.
Okay, so we see that Madiah is of Japheth. Madiah is of Japheth. So we have to remember that if Madiah is of Japheth, okay, let's keep going. And notice he says these people or two people. So now who is the two people he's talking about? Now we understand. my next question is, before we go further, who is the Medes? Medes. Who are they? Medes. Let me see if anybody been paying attention. It's a repetitious question. Who are the Medes? Medes. Who are the Medes? The Medes. Who are the Medes? Before I answer the question, anybody got the Medes, the Medes and the Persians? Who are the Medes?
The Iranians?
Those are the Iranians, but who are they in the Bible? Who are the Medes? That's Media. The Medes are Media or Media. Okay. The Medes are Media. That's who they are. The Medes are Media. That's Japheth's son. Okay. They belong to Japheth. These are the same people. Medes are Median or Media. They're the same people. They're the same people. No, that is the right scripture. They placed them in the city of Medes. You got to remember now, all them people was working together, and sometimes the Medes were conquered under. They remember now, Babylonians, the Egyptians, and the Medes, and the Medes, the Medians were under the Assyrians. Okay, remember Assyria was a formidable foe. They controlled it, pretty much the plains in a lot of areas, and they were a formidable foe. And a lot of these nations were under the Assyrians. So that is the correct, because the Medes were under the control. That's why if you not getting off into another subject, but just real quick, just to kind of put your verse in context, is that if you go to the Apocrypha, what they talk with the story that they use for the 10 tribes leaving the Assyrian captivity, okay, they would tell you that they left Assyria and then came to the Americas. But remember, they say that, if you listen to a lot of these stories, they got on boats in the Euphrates and they travel, all the way down the Euphrates River. But at the bottom was supposed to have been Babylon. That was supposed to have been the kingdom of Babylon at the bottom of the Euphrates River. So how did they get past the Medes or the Medes and the Persians and Babylonian flowing down the Ethiopian River over there? That is how you know that the story don't add up. Okay, we're talking about the Assyrian captivity. No, the Medes were controlled by the Assyrians. The Medes, Medi. All right, we're going to find out who the Medians are. Okay, so let's get back into the video. All right, because they have the Medes and the Persians, they have something in common. Let's go. And this what brought the two nations together. Let's go.
As described in Genesis chapter 10. But who exactly were these peoples? They were the Medo-Persians. Many may question the ancestral figure of the Persians according to the biblical narrative. The ancient Jews were well acquainted with the ancestor of the Medo-Persians, according to biblical genealogies.
Now, why was the ancient Jews, or who they call the Israelites, were connected with these people or knew about the ancestry of these people if they were two types of people or three types or a mixture of people? So something about the Israelites knew something about these ancient people. Something grabbed the Israelites' attention. So let's figure it out. Let's go.
In fact, even before the arrival of the Persians in the region now comprising Iran, a significant part of the southern country was already inhabited by various tribes of Semitic descent.
So there was a Semitic descent in the southern nation, in the southern part of Iran. They say that there was a Semitic people that were in the southern part of Iran way before Medaya got there, or any other nation that were there. It was already a southern Semitic people. Okay, who was those people? Let's keep going.
Originally, in antiquity, the Iranian peoples, or Aryans, as they were known,
they were called the Aryans, but let's see who they are. Let's go.
Including the Medo-Persians, were the true inhabitants of this region. However, before them, or at least contemporaneously with them, there lived an older people, known both from the Bible and by historians as the Elamites.
Who are the Elamites? Let's put it in the chat. Who are the Elamites? Elomites. Who are the Elamites? Who are the Elamites? Who are the Elamites? See, this is how you know. That's why I'm going to bring this brother's post back up in a minute. Because see, when you simply listen to people, and a lot of times when people don't understand the region or the biblical region, you would just simply just keep going by what you done heard people say. Who are the Elamites? Who are the Elamites? Who are the Elamites? Go ahead.
Aren't they part of Shem's lineage?
That's Shem's lineage. That's who makes up the Mede-Persians. Shem's lineage mixed with Japheth's lineage. Those are the Persians. That's right. Genesis 10 and 22. Make sure when you call out when we get an answer, make sure you give the scripture as well, the description of the scripture where people can find it. Genesis 10 and 22. Sister Latoya put up Genesis 10:22. The children of Shem, Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. So Shem's lineage mixed with Japheth's lineage. This is what we have to remember. So it wasn't that when we talking about the Mede-Persians, they mixed. There was a mixture of a people who enslaved the Israelites. Okay? That's the reason why now you have to go back and you have to figure out who was King Cyprus. Was he an Elamite? Or was he just Japhet? See, we have to pay attention to how these scriptures run. How these scriptures position itself. Did the creator use Japhet? Yes, he used Japhet. He used Esau. He used the Moabites. He used anybody he chose to use. But why did he call King Darius his anointed? Can somebody be anointed other than Shem's lineage? You see where you see what's happening? You see, the Israelites are not over there, but Shem's lineage is over there. They migrated over there. That's the reason why we don't talk about all of Shem's sons. We just talk about the Israelites. But where is the rest of Shem's sons? We just Sister Latoya just put it up, and Sister Joanne just told you that that was Shem's lineage. So where are the other sons of Shem? You had Elam, Ashur, Arphadak, Lud, and Aram. So is all of Shem's sons is in the Americas? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Or did some of Shem's sons migrated?
I think they migrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they migrated because that's why you have a lot of this mixed culture, because they migrated to different areas and they mixed their seeds with different females in those areas and vice versa.
And why do you think you see a lot of these so-called dark-skinned people calling themselves the Jews? You don't think Shem knew? You don't think the sons knew about the blessed seed? You don't think Shem taught his sons about the covenant of the Creator?
Yes. But they did what they wanted to do, and they followed what and whom they wanted to follow.
Right. And so now you see that Shem's son Elam migrated and mixed with Japhet. I mean, this is going to get interesting. This is the reason why I ask these particular questions, and I send these questions out to certain people. Because you don't think that Shem taught his son, if he taught Abraham, what makes you think he didn't teach his sons? And Abraham was like a grandchild to Shem, or a great-grand. And if he taught his great-grand or grand of the covenant of the Creator, what you think he did to his own children? And this is the thing that we don't understand. We only look at like Shem just had one son. Shem had what? 1, 2, 3. Shem had 5 sons. And he had daughters as well.
So if you go to Genesis chapter 9 and verse 17, where it says, and the Creator said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. So if he made a covenant with the Creator, I'm sure he passed all that down to his children.
Talking about Noah.
Noah.
Yeah. Yes, but he also passed down that there's going to be a covenant with one people. But that covenant, even though that covenant was with one people, everybody still were under what the Bible had just said about Noah. He said he made a covenant with the earth. That means everything. So everything that's living knows it's under this covenant. And if Shem was Melchizedek or Melchizedek, the priest, because before it was Shem, it was who? Who was Shem's father? It was Noah. So if Noah passed the Melchizedek title to his son Shem, and now he's passing it to who? Abram. That's why they had commune. He's passing the title. He's passing the torch. He's passing the mantle to Noah. And Noah became Melchizedek. Who did Noah pass the torch to?
Well, if he had 3 sons, he would have passed it to them, right?
No, he didn't. He couldn't pass the Melchizedek title to all 3 of his sons.
So it's supposed to be the oldest, right?
It's supposed to be the oldest. And who was that? Who was the oldest out of Abram's children? No, it was Shem was the grandfather of Abram. Who was the father? Who was the first son of Abraham? Come from Hagar.
Ishmael.
Ishmael. It comes from Ishmael. But Ishmael was not of the seed.
Because his mother was a concubine, right?
His mother was a concubine. That was considered what? What is a concubine? If a man have sex with a woman that is not of his gene, that becomes a what?
That child's pretty much a bastard.
She is a bastard. Genesis 18:19. Sister Latoya put that up. Genesis 18:19. Because the Creator Noah gave it to Shem. Shem gave it to Abram. Abram gave it to who? Who was Abram? Who was Abram's first full blood? It was Isaac. It was Isaac. And then who was Isaac supposed to have gave the Melchizedek title to? Because Isaac and Rebekah had what? Twins.
So they had Jacob and Esau.
And who was the firstborn?
Supposed to be Esau.
It was supposed to be Esau, but the angel told Rebekah what?
Jacob.
It was supposed to be the youngest. That was Jacob. And when Jacob had sons, who was the son supposed to have went to? The Melchizedek title. Reuben was the oldest. Yeah. But what happened with Reuben? No. Reuben had sex. Genesis 18:19. I'm just reading what Sister Latoya put up. For I know him that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Creator to do justice, judgment that the Creator may bring upon. That's true. That is the scripture. He was talking about Abraham. So what happened? Why did Reuben was removed? See, we're talking about the title of Melchizedek. Because Shem had more than one son. Shem had 5 sons and daughters. But most of the time the Bible don't get into the daughters. It just get into the sons. But there's a lot that goes in because the Magi, Medes and the Persians were part of Shem.
Okay, so Reuben lost his inheritance because he lied. He lay with Binea.
Benaiah.
Benaiah.
That was one of Jacob's concubines. So he lost this inheritance of being Melchizedek. And who did it go to? Because Jacob was supposed to have got stoned. I mean, not Jacob. Reuben was supposed to have got killed. But who did the title go to? Since Reuben couldn't take it, who did the title go to? And then go to the next one. Who did it go to? The Melchizedek title went to this particular tribe and is still there till this day. And they try to tell you Jesus is a part of this tribe. Judah. Judah. The Melchizedek title went to Judah. Okay. So we have to pay attention to Shem's lineage, because Japheth is going to take over Shem's lineage. Not just the Israelites, but Shem's lineage. Okay? So let's get back into the video. Let's go.
The Elamites are recognized in the biblical narrative as descendants of one of the most notable sons of Shem, one of the fathers of the Semitic peoples, being Elam, that son. Elam migrated to the region that now comprises the territory of Iran.
So did you hear what he said? Elam migrated to the region. Let's hear that again. Let's hear it again, family.
Peoples, being Elam, that son. Elam migrated to the region that now comprises the territory of Iran, where the...
Did you hear it? Elam migrated to the region. So that's not Shem's region. That's not their region over there. That's not their region, family. So you got people, you got some of Shem's lineage moving around. And they're mixing with the enemy. Go ahead, I'm listening.
When you said that, I thought about something. Don't a lot of these camps talk about how the Creator kind of scattered the 12 tribes all over the place?
Okay.
But how could he scatter? But if they migrated on their own volition. So the Creator didn't actually scatter. They just migrated in different areas.
No, but the 12 tribes are not scattered. They're not scattered all over the place, because the Bible don't even mention it. Don't even tell you it. Let me put it like this. The Bible tells you where the 12, it tells you where the Israelites are at. Okay. It tells you where the Creator is going to gather the Israelites from. He's not going to Iran and Russia and China and to gather the Israelites. He's not doing that. He tells you exactly where the Israelites are, where he's going to go, he's going to come again the second time. That's Isaiah 11:11. So Israelite, there's no Bible that teaches that Israel is all over the place. Now, Shem's lineage moved out of their territory and went into other territories. Okay? They went into other territories. Shem's lineage. Just like Japheth's lineage did the same thing. I'm going to show it to you in a second. Japheth lineage went from their territory into other people's territory. Same thing like Ham. People started moving all over the place. And when they started moving all over the place, they began to integrate. You follow me? But everybody knew everybody. They knew who was who. Everybody knew everybody, because there were certain customs and culture that certain people were taught. Just like if I go to New York and be up amongst the New Yorkians, you see what I'm saying? Because I was here so long. I mean, I still know the Pope, I still know things, but people will realize what you live in the South now. Like if you get people from New York and go to California, it'll be totally different. The atmosphere is different because you're talking about what? different cultures. The only thing that we can identify with is what? Skin tone. But when you're dealing with the culture in the community, it's different. That's how people know you ain't from this area. Because there's certain ways and certain things you do.
And the dialect, that plays a big part too.
And the dialect plays a big part. See, you have to be in a place for so long to realize, oh yeah, you done learn the ways of here. And that's what happened to Elam. He migrated and became a part of that region because Elam been there so long. Okay, let's go.
The ancient name of the land, Elam, persists. In this area, various Elamite tribes settled, considered Semitic by biblical tradition. Although academically some disagree because the language is not strictly Semitic, resembling more Akkadian or Aramaic.
See, that's where they say the Akkadian people or the Aramaic. They spoke Akkadian or Aramaic. See, this is who they say who spoke the Akkadian language. That was Shem's people. I'm gonna show y'all everything migrated from the Americas. Shem's people with the Akkadian and the Aramaic Aramaic language. That came from Shem's language, Shem's people. See, it wasn't just Shem's people, but it was Ham's people who created the language too. Japheth people had language as well. But what I'm showing you is that they showing you that the Elamites spoke Akkadian or Aramaic, not a Semitic language. And that's what pretty much the Israelites spoke. They spoke something closely to Aramaic, not Arabic with the Muslims, but Aramaic or Akkadian. Let's go.
However, in the biblical tradition, Elam is mentioned as one of the sons of Shem in Genesis 10, therefore, it is considered a Semitic people. This Semitic presence persists to this day, reflected in the genetics of contemporary Iranians, especially in the southern region of Iran. The map.
So it's showing you straight up that the southern people of Iran are some of Shem's people. They're not Israelites, but they are some of Shem's people that's in Iran. They migrated there and they mixed with Japheth. You can see the map right there. The Parthians, the Persians, the Sumerians, Elam, Susia, or Susa. See, they're showing you right there. That's why they are considered to be the Persians. They are different from the Arabs. They don't have the same customs as the Arabs. That's why the Arabs in the region don't like Iran.
So they can almost have the same pigmentation, but their culture and what they do shows the difference of who they really are.
It shows the difference. That's why a lot of the Arab and the Muslims over there don't like Iran. Because half of them don't belong there. They are the Shemites, not the Israelites. They're different. But they know they come from who? Shem. And that's the reason why the fake Jews over there don't like Iran. They say Iran is the biggest enemy over there. It's because they know some of those people are the what? Shemites. Let's go.
region clearly shows southern Iran identified as Elam, indicating that this was the land of the Elamites, the first inhabitants of that area that would eventually become modern Iran.
They tell you that they migrated there, they was the first people that was there. And it could have been. But they showing you straight up, they showing you straight up that they migrated there. Now, they probably was the first ones in that region, that area, that southern region. I don't know. But we know clearly that they have migrated there. Remember, Japheth is going to enlarge himself in the what? Tents. And if Elam is one of Shem's sons, why do you think that fake land Israel is trying to defeat Iran? Because one of Shem's sons made that one of his tents. They know who's who. The problem is you don't know who's who. You don't know who's who. We're not gonna watch this whole video, but let's watch about like another minute of it. You can watch the video on your own. It's called The Origin of the Iranian According to the Bible. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, well, will we ever really know who's who?
A lot of people is mixed up now.
Yeah.
But we know the regions of these people, and then we know we should realize the migration, regardless of the people. We should know the region and the migration of the people, and then we'll know where the people went. And then you can start doing the research on those people to see who those people are today. A lot of people are mixed out now. There's a lot of mamzers all across the earth now. And that's why the Bible says that there's going to only be a remnant of Israel, because that seed line is not going to mix itself out. It's going to keep itself pure. And the creator knows exactly who he's going to allow to stay pure, which lineage. And that's why I keep telling people to go home. According to Genesis 32:7, go home, ask your mother and the father, clean everything out. Okay, so let's go. Let's finish up the video. One more minute. We're going to the next point.
In other regions, predominantly 3 other peoples of similar origin dwelled. The Medites, mentioned in the Bible as Aryans, considered the true Aryans. Therefore, present-day Iranians are a mixture of these ancient Semitic and Aryan peoples, but still maintain the heritage of Aryan tribes.
See, they still maintain the heritage. See, so they know who they are. They know who they are.
But who exactly were these tribes that gave rise to present-day Iranians? It is important to understand that the Medo-Persian Empire and the Aryan peoples were not simply one single people, but rather a group of peoples with the same origin.
They're with the same origin. Okay, let's go.
These peoples not only inhabited Iran but also areas that now comprise Pakistan, Afghanistan, and other regions of the Middle East.
Where these people are. Pakistan, Afghanistan, and other areas of the region. So some of Afghanistan are the same people. Some of Pakistan. Remember Pakistan? You'll think that all those people are the same people. But some of Shem's people migrated over there too, in India. But we don't trace the lineage. See, and then what they'll say, oh, that's Shem's lineage. So we'll say that those are all people are the Israelites. No, they're not. We forget about Shem's other sons. And we just simply think because it comes from Shem that those are the Israelites too. No, they knew the covenant. They knew the law. They knew, the things that Shem taught, because Shem lived according to the law. So some of those people, you're going to see them do certain things that reflects, you know what I'm saying, the law, because they were taught by Shem. but they were not Israel. I just want to put this out. There was no Israelites in that region over there. There was no Israelites in that region. So when Japheth takes over Shem's territory, you got to remember, Shem people did not just sit in one spot. Some of them migrated in different parts of the hemisphere. And now some people say, well, what about the Israelites? Well, you can't show me a story where the Israelites migrated. There's no story for that. See, this is the thing we have to remember. Israel did not migrate to different parts of the hemisphere, but I'm showing you that some of Shem's sons did. And one of the ones that did migrate was Elam. Let's go.
They share a genetic and cultural heritage from the ancient peoples of Median origin, known as Aryans. Besides the Medes, other peoples inhabiting the region of Iran were descendants of Aryans or simply of the Medes. The Mede people, descendants of the ancient Aryans, are considered one of the Japhethite peoples, descendants of Madai, one of the sons of Japheth, according to biblical accounts. Therefore, these peoples are characterized by lighter skin and lighter eyes.
So now you see the Medites were dark-skinned people, and the Medai people were light-skinned people with lighter eyes. They mix with the Shem's people. There's a mixture there.
Aryan society was heavily based on a caste structure, with priests, Brahmins, occupying the top of the social hierarchy, followed by warriors, Kshatriyas, traders and farmers, Vaishyas, and lastly the manual laborers, Shudras. This caste structure played a fundamental role in the social and religious organization of the ancient Aryans. Religiously, the ancient Aryans were polytheists, worshipping a variety of pagan gods and goddesses, many of which are present in Vedic texts.
So a lot of Japheth people believed in more than one god. So what happened to the Elamites? What happened to the Elamites that was there? We're going to show you. Let's go.
Fire worship played a central role in their religious practice.
Fire. Let's go.
Practices and ritual sacrifices were an important part of their worship of the gods.
I'm showing you what these people do. And it came from who? The Aryans. Who were the Aryans? That was Japheth's people. They believe in these more than one gods. They believe in the fire, and they believe in what? Sacrifices. Notice it didn't say too much about the Elamites. It was talking about the people who migrated there. Now, we know the Elamites migrated there too, but notice it didn't get too much into it because it was just basic. But now you're seeing when the Aryans now move into the area, look what's happening. Look what's happening. Let's go.
The language spoken by the ancient Aryans is known as Vedic Sanskrit, an archaic form of Sanskrit.
See, they believe in the Sanskrit. They say the archaic Sanskrit. Let's go.
This language is the basis of the Vedas and other religious and literary texts of ancient India.
So when you're talking about people who talking about the Sanskrit and etc., you're talking about people that's dealing with Japheth. That's Japheth's lineage. And notice what it says. It just wasn't the Medes, the Medai that came there. It was other ones that was connected to the Medai tribes that also migrated into the what? Iranian region. So it was a whole bunch of people started to come into the region of Iran that were part of the Aryan people. And these people were lighter skinned than the what? Than the what? Which son we talking about? Which son of Shem we talking about? I'm gonna see who's paying attention. Hey, shalom, shalom, peace to Zipporah, Trey, and Zayden. All praises to you. Make sure actually when you come into the building, you press that like and subscribe button. William Graves. And William Graves, hey, peace to you, my brother. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We thank you for joining us. Make sure you press that like and subscribe button if you like what you're hearing. If you don't, press the down button. That's all we ask for. That's the monetary we ask you to give us over here. Is the like up and down. If you like to give regular monetary, you're welcome to do so. You can see the chat. That Cash App is at the bottom of the page. William Graves says, shame, how can't Jesus save Israel and house? Why not? Stop war. Why pretty hiring the Lord restore? I don't understand that. Lord is not very nice. People can change. Lord is wrong. Why a lamb is the devil type? Let me make sure I post everything you say, brother. You posting a lot, and it's not really saying it too much to nothing. People can change, brother. People can change. And I never say people can't change. Hell, I changed. I changed. But that still has nothing to do with your bloodline, brother. That has nothing to do with your bloodline. So my question to you, William Graves, if that's your real name, the link is in the chat if you want to come up on the platform and we can have this conversation. Horns and God, what did I say? Goatee means, do you understand? I don't understand that. No, I don't understand what you mean by that. That's talk. That's like witchcraft. And I don't deal with witchcraft over here. But anyway, to answer your question, people do change. People do change. Everybody changes, brother, over a period of time. But that has nothing to do with your bloodline. Your bloodline is your bloodline. That's the reason why when we go back to Genesis, the first chapter, the Creator said, let everything produce after its own kind. Go to Genesis 1:8 and read that for Brother William Graves. Let's see what he said about the grass. What he said about the grass and trees.
Okay, Genesis 1:8. And the Creator called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
Keep going.
And the Creator said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so.
Go ahead.
And the Creator called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And the Creator saw that it was good.
Keep going.
And the Creator said, let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit, so after his kind.
After his kind. After his kind. Brother William Graves, go ahead.
Whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so.
So the seed is of itself. So guess what, Brother William Gray? He only produced the seed. The fruit tree can only produce the fruit of itself. But when did other fruits started producing other fruits that was not of itself? When man created GMO. And those fruits those fruits that has no seed can never produce after itself. The same thing like an animal And the same thing like in human. When you mix something, it's never of itself again.
That's why they call it a hybrid
That's why they call it a hybrid
or a clone.
or a clone. So no, everything can change, but the problem is, it's not the point of changing. When it changed, do it go back home or do it stay out in the wild?
Right, or does it go back to its origin? Because if you look at in Torah, it breaks down the generations, so you know who came from what, who begot this, who begot that. But when you get into the New Testament, it doesn't break any of that down.
No, it just mix everything up and say, oh, everybody Israelites, because they came from all over. They spoke African and came over here. They spoke Egyptian, came over here. They spoke Sharit language. They came over here. They was Muslims and they came over here. Oh man, they came from they even came from Iceland. They came from where? The North and the South Pole. They came from every place. It don't work like that. That's not Israel. So you say Jesus is God. So if Jesus is God, I know YouTube messing with my numbers. I ain't worried about that. So if Jesus is God, why would God come through a woman's vagina? What would be the need for a God, your God, to come through a woman's vagina when he created it? He created the vagina. He created the world, but he decided to come through a vagina. Wow. I don't need a God that comes through a vagina because he created the vagina for man. He didn't create the vagina for him to come through, just to prove himself to man that he's God.
And if that's the case, then why didn't he start doing that with Adam and Eve?
Exactly. He waited 4,000 years to come through a vagina. That don't make no sense.
He could have done it with any of the prophets. I mean, you had what? Isaiah, you had Ezekiel, David was the apple of his eye. So why wait?
Because they are doing what the Iranian people did. They believe in polytheism. They believe in multiple gods. And that's the problem. They believe in multiple gods. They believe in witchcraft. They believe in warlockism. That's why when they say Jesus, he said Jesus and God is equal. In what point? In what point are they equal? Because the creator created Jesus. So how are they equal? If Jesus is real, Jesus was created. Who created the creator? Equal. Tell me where the equalism at. Because Jesus came through a vagina. The creator didn't come through a vagina. You can come on the platform, brother. Oh boy. Anyway, let's get back in. Let's get on back into the video. We thank you for joining us, Brother William Graves. You can keep put your conversation in the chat since you don't want to come up. We're not going to waste time just talking about your foolish your opinions that you don't have no understanding of. Let's go.
Vedic Sanskrit is one of the oldest documented Indo-European languages. The second people, perhaps the most recognized and notable, are the Persian people. This people, also known as a tribe or perhaps just a geographical designation in Iran, gained great fame in antiquity. The Persians are often called by present-day Iranians, who prefer this designation over other terms like Iranians. In addition to the Persians, there was also another tribe of Iranian peoples, the Medes, known as Parthians. These tribes comprise the region both in antiquity and in present days.
So you have the Medes and the Parthians. Those are two of the people that's from Japhet that came to that region, migrated to that region. The Parthians and the Medes, and they are mixing together to become the Iranian people. That's the reason why they don't like to be called Persians, because the Persians are the ones they are just showing the mixture. The Iranian shows one nationality. It just clunk everything together. The same thing like America. They clunk everything together. See, and they make the people seem like they are one people. If you don't know any better, they are not one people. Just the same thing like the Americas, they are not one people. Okay, let's go.
The Aryan peoples, or Medes, spoke different languages, all related and linguistically similar to each other. These Aryan or Iranian languages are classified within the Indo-European or Japhetic linguistic family. Interestingly, in the book of Daniel, when a mysterious hand appears in chapter 5, it is interpreted as the hand of God, writing a message that only the prophet Daniel could read and interpret for the others present. In this message, mention is made of the Persian people and the Medo-Persian peoples. The predominant language in Iran is Persian, also known as Parsi. This language is essentially the same as that used in the writing found in chapter 5 of the book of Daniel. In this chapter, the prophet Daniel translated the inscription for the Babylonian people, which included experts in ancient languages.
Now, how did Daniel know Parsi or the languages of the Persians or the Babylonians or the not the Babylonians, the Persians or these other groups? How did he know that? Daniel, remember what we said at the beginning. When you in a place for so long, you begin to know the language, you begin to know the custom. Same thing like Joseph. He was in a particular place for so long, and he became and learned the custom and became a part of that custom. That's what happened with a lot of the Israelites. They became to know and learn that custom, so they understood the language.
Because if you're in a different area and you've been there so long, if you don't learn to adapt or learn how to maneuver, then you'll be lost. You can't survive.
That's right. And they will know that you're an outsider. So sometimes in order to be a part of something, you have to learn it.
Blend in.
And blend in. And that's what they have done to us for so long. Let's go.
Although none of the experts could decipher the text, Daniel provided a translation in Aramaic that said, Min tekel parsin, meaning that the kingdom would be divided and given to the Medes and Persians.
And notice what it says he spoke. Notice what it says. Let's hear it again. What did Daniel speak?
Languages. Although none of the experts could decipher the text,
so they didn't understand exactly what the text was that Daniel was reading. But let's see. That's what the so-called expert says. But let's keep going.
Daniel provided a translation in Aramaic that said,
They provided a translation in Aramaic. In Aramaic. Who spoke Aramaic? Shem's people. Shem's people spoke Aramaic. So that means that the languages had to have been similar to what he already was familiar with. So these people, so Japheth's people did not speak a so-called out-of-bound language, that it was so hard for any of Shem's people to what? Learn or understand. It was almost similar. Okay? So let's finish this piece right here up, and then we're gonna move on.
Min tekel parsin, meaning that the kingdom would be divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Modern Iranians are a mixture of various ethnic groups, including the descendants of Madai, son of Japheth, as described in some ancient traditions, such as the Book of Jubilees. According to this tradition, Madai, father of the Medes and Persians, descendant of Japheth, married a woman from the lineage of Shem, as reported in the Book of Jubilees.
Let's stop it right there. Go ahead.
No, I was laughing because I was just going to ask you about the Book of Jubilees.
Okay, let's go to Jubilees, the 10th chapter, verse 35 and 36. Let's go to Jubilees, the 10th chapter, verse 35 and 36. Jubilees, the 10th chapter, verse 35 and 36. While you're getting that, let me go ahead and get to one of these brothers' posts right here. You can see it right here. I want you to see what it's saying. It says, brethren in Spain joined them there. We know that when the Romans conquered the peninsula, they found a considerable number of Israelites docile there. When after the terrible siege of Jerusalem by Vespasian and Titus. This is talking about he posted something dealing with the 70 AD story. Okay. One stone was not left upon another of the city of their love and pride. Crowds of exile wandered westward to swell these numbers. Spain was a quiet Roman province, and there by their industry, fragility, and skill in businesses, the Jews made themselves useful members of society. Now, I want to stop right there. What nation, after getting beat the hell up in war, will go join their enemy and become a productive society member in the enemy's territory? Who does that? Who do that, family? This is the stuff that I be telling y'all when these people post this BS. And they hoping that you don't use common sense. Like this brother William Gray, he said Jesus and God is equal. Into what manner? Jesus came through a vagina. He was put inside of a vagina with a man penis. So would God ever be put inside of a woman from a man, from a human man? This how stupid they sound. This how unintelligent and unlearned they sound. This how ignorant they are. But you can't blame them because, see, they don't know no better anyhow. They just throw up foolishness. They just put up foolishness. They believe God can go on a cross and get nailed. This is what they believe. God can go on a cross and get nailed. But then he don't die. He come down off the cross and resurrect himself. But what the hell are God going on the cross anyhow for? Allowing man to put him on the cross. What God does that?
If you think about it, didn't they do a lot of that stuff with witchcraft back in the day?
They did a lot of that stuff with witchcraft.
Like nailing and burning and all of that.
If he was God and supposed to have been Christ, remember we read in John the 10th chapter. They asked him, answer us plainly. Are you the Christ? Did he say yes? No. He said, look at my collar popping. Look at the holes in my jeans. Look at me walking backwards. That's all he was doing, all the miracles and signs. And by that, that's how you know I'm the Christ. John the Baptist even asked him, are you the one we looking for, or should we look for another one? If John was sitting there preaching the kingdom that this joker was supposed to have been a part of, and was supposed to have been ruling, why he told his disciples, he told John's disciples, look at my collar popping, look at the holes in my jeans, look at me walking backwards. See, he said the same thing. It's the signs and wonders and the things you hear me talking about. That's showing you that I'm the Christ. And when he asked his disciples, who do people say I am? What's the word on the streets? Ain't nobody say you was the Christ. They say you was everything else except no Christ. And Peter said, oh, you the Christ. You the Christ. And what did Jesus say? Ain't nobody could reveal that to you but my Father. So why the Father only revealed that to Peter? When we read the scripture in Proverbs, when it says he will not keep nothing good from those who love him and obey his commandments. And then this joker lied and say John the Baptist was Elijah. But when the Pharisees went to John the Baptist and asked him, "Are you the Christ?" He said, "Nope." "Are you Elijah?" He said, "Nope." They say, "Are you a prophet?" What did he say? "Nope." He didn't say, "Look at my collar popping. Look at the holes in my jeans. Look at me walking backwards." He never say none of that. John the Baptist answered straight out, "No." Peace, brother William Graves. Good. Hey, we good. We thank you for joining and dropping in. He never said Jesus could never answer the question. And that's why we believe that there are people. We think that the Israelites have been scattered all throughout all people. When the Bible tells you in Isaiah 11:11, and even in Zechariah, where Israel went. But we still sit there and say, "Oh, they went all over the earth." Shem's descendants, the other sons, some of Shem's sons went other places. But Israel as a nation always stayed in one place unless they got what? Scattered with the what? Captivity. But they still never went too far from what? They own homeland. I'm going to prove it in a minute. Jasher, the book of Jasher, the 10th chapter, verse 35 and 36. What you got? This how Elam, you don't have it? The book of Jasher. If I said Jubilees, I apologize. It's the book of Jasher, the 10th chapter, verse 35 and 36. The book of Jasher, the 10th chapter, verse 35 and 36. We're going to show you that Jasher, one of Jasher's sons, pled to want to be in somebody else's territory. See, we have to keep everything in context. And this is the reason why when you have the mixture, you have this mixture. Because you got to remember that a lot of people had they migrated, but Israel was one of the nations that didn't do all that migration like that. They didn't migrate to go all over the different areas of the earth. They didn't do that. They migrated from captivity to go back home. But what you got? Book of Joshua, the 10th chapter, verse 35, 36. What you got?
Okay. It says, "And in the second year after the tower, a man from the house of Ashur, whose name was Belial, went from the land of Nineveh to sojourn with his household wherever he could find a place. And they came unto opposite the cities of the plain against Sodom, and they dwelt there."
Hold on. That's not it. The book of Jubilees. Hold on. Let me see if that's the book of Jubilees. I can't stand.
Verse 28.
Book of Jubilees, the 10th chapter, verse 35. Okay, let me find it real quick. That's when it was talking about the son of Mediah was begging to go over into Shem's land. He was begging to go over into Shem's land. It's go to book of Jubilees, the 8th chapter. See if I made a mistake and put down the wrong chapter. Go to the 8th chapter, verse 35, 36. Just give me a minute. Let me see this something real quick. Book of Jubilees, the 8th chapter. Let me see if this is it. It says he was begging to go over into Shem's land. And that's when he married over into I think it's the 8th chapter. he married one of Shem's daughters. It should be at the very end. It should be at the very end. Okay, let me go to the 9th chapter. Yeah, verse 35, 36. The book of Jubilees, the 10th chapter, verse 35, 36. And Japheth and his sons went towards the sea and dwelt in the land of their portion. And Mediah saw the land of the sea, and it did not please him. And he begged a portion from Ham, because see, he had to go over. Japheth had to come down from his territory and go over, because see, a lot of that territory over there is Ham. And we're gonna get into that in a minute. A lot of that territory over there is Ham's territory. He had to beg a portion. He had to beg a portion from Ham and Ashur and Arpachshad, whatever that, Arpachshad, his wife's brother. See, he married into Shem's lineage until this day. And he called his dwelling place and the dwelling place of his sons Mediah. What is in Mediah? Where the Muslims go for pilgrimage? Mediah. That's Mediah. After the name of his father. See, so a lot of these places, see, Japheth married one of Shem's daughter. And that's why you have the mixture going on over there. That's why you have the mixture going on over there. Because it's Japheth and Shem's lineage boggled up together. But those are not the Israelites. Let's go to the next point. Peleg. That's the reason why you can't take stuff like this until you literally know the lineage that's over there. That's why, and notice what it says at the end. There were many who remained in Northern Africa and who were in constant and cordial. Let's say they kept contact with each other with their brethren in Spain. They might have foundly hope that their wandering were at an end. Not so. Fierce persecution were in store for them there and elsewhere. So in other words, the Israelites supposed to have fled. They're supposed to have fled to Spain because they were wandering. And they're supposed to have fled to Spain and in North Africa because they were wandering because Jerusalem was destroyed. My point is, what they wandering for? Why did you think go back home? Because a lot of people who go back home, they'll try to pick up the pieces. People who's from a particular place don't go too far from their home, even if it was destroyed. Let's take Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma, a lot of those people, even when it was bombed, those people moved out, but then guess what they did? They came back and they rebuilt. So why is it that when the Israelites, their place get bombed by the Romans, they just scatter and be wandering all over the place until they come into the enemy's land? Who do that?
A person with a death wish.
Hey, shalom, shalom, brother Marcus. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Make sure when you come into the building, you press that like and subscribe button. But this is the stupidity that people believe. The same way brother William Graves say Jesus and God is the same, they're equal. One was created and the other one wasn't created, but they're equal. I want you to think about that. One was never created and the other one was created. But somehow the created being is equal to the not created being. That don't even make sense. That makes no sense. But this is the kind of mindset that people have. Because they want to put something on the same plateau of something they can't fathom, so as that they can somehow accept it. That's why they give the name Yahweh Shai, Yahusha, Yahuwah, Yahweh, and all that. They want to give it a common name and a common theme to be able to accept it within themselves. So it can make it look like everything of the Creator is on my level. But you die, he don't. But somehow I want to put the Creator on an equal plane. That's why in indigenous language it says, I am the earth are one. What that mean? I am the earth. I and the earth are one. What does that mean?
It means that you're connected. And with that connection, it's like, I guess if I'm thinking correctly, what they would do, like they would, like, if you touch the ground, it's almost like you can feel the vibration of the earth and you feel that connection. So you're one with the earth.
I and the sun are one. I and the sun, S-U-N, are one. What does that mean? You can't look that up. You have to know it. I and the earth are one. I and the sun are one. I and the wind are one.
You're one with the vibration. You're just one with it. If you're connected.
So why don't we feel when things are getting ready to happen?
Because there's a disconnect.
Why is it a disconnect?
I believe that there's a disconnect because if you're not becoming one with yourself or one with the Creator, or if you're not following the roadmap that He's already put there before us, then there is going to be a disconnect. Then we've become too involved in the things that's going on in this world and with other cultures and other people. And it's like we're forgetting who we are and we're not acknowledging who we are anymore.
Do I supposed to acknowledge the sun? Shalom, shalom. Oh, Brother Marcus dropped. Do I supposed to acknowledge the sun? The S-U-N, not no S-O-N, the sun. Yes, I acknowledge the sun. Why do I acknowledge the sun?
When you say when you acknowledge the sun, are you mean like when we say good morning, or you acknowledge the position that it has? Not like a worshiping.
I'm acknowledging the position that it has, the same thing as the earth. That's why the Creator say after so long, you're supposed to let the earth rest. You acknowledging the position of the earth. Because if I don't, then that means I'm a constantly agriculture. And what happens to the ground after so long? You destroy it. So when you become one with the creation, I'm learning what? I'm learning about the what? The creator. Why?
In Genesis, then he said that the seeds are going to yield, they're going to bring forth itself. So if it's yielding and it already knows what it's supposed to do, then we shouldn't interrupt that.
Bingo. You never interrupt things of what it was purposed to do. That's why we don't mix. Because you're interrupting the purpose.
I guess how they say what things are off or it's not aligned like it should, because you're messing things up.
So when things get offline, then tell me, can't I understand the vibration of the natural thing?
No.
Why?
Because it's like there's an interruption there. And for you to kind of get back on course, it's going to take a lot, if ever.
So why do you think man interrupt history?
Because a lot of times they wanted to play God, because they wanted to rewrite things the way they felt or they thought it should be, not the way it actually is.
That's right. And why do you think man interrupt lineage?
I'm thinking the reason why they did that, because how things were back in the days, like you had the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, and everything ran through a cycle. And once that ended, a lot of people or those in position didn't want to give that up. So they wanted to find ways to stay in power or to keep control.
Bingo. Three Habits should say that they wanted to trick people. And that's true. They wanted to stay in power. See, if I don't know who people are, then guess what's going to happen? Then I'm going to always say, like these people say, they want to be known as the Iranians. If you don't know the Iranians, most of those people are Japhets. But some of them are mixed with who? Shem. Some of them are mixed with Shem, and you wouldn't even believe it. But you would tell me those are the Israelites that they mixed with. No, it's not. It was Elam's people that they mixed with. That's why you don't hear nothing about Elam. The Elamites. And the Bible do talks about the Elamites. But why don't you hear anything about the Elamites? It says Japheth will enlarge himself in the tents of Shem. Not in the tents of the Israelites, but in the tents of Shem. So wherever Shem's lineage is, you're going to see Japheth there. I just want y'all, I want that to sink. Wherever Shem's lineage is, I don't care if Shem go to Antarctica, Japheth's going to be there. See, that goes back. If Sister Latoya, you still listening, what you had said, no matter where we go, they're going to find us. You're right, they're going to find you because that's prophecy. They're going to find you to live among you, to take over you. That's prophecy. Brother Marcus said, I'm here just StreamYard isn't letting me have a voice, LOL, listening intently. Okay, all praises, my brother, all praises. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. I don't know what's going on today. But this is the point. Japheth mixed in with Elam lineage. And that's why you hear some people say Japheth's lineage, Shem is over in the Middle East, and Shem is over in the Middle East. It was Shem's lineage. It was the Elamites. Okay? All right? So that's the thing what we have to remember. Now let's talk about the next point, Peleg. Hey, shalom, brother Shiva. Hey, peace. All praise to you. All praise to you. Make sure when you come into the building, make sure you press that like and subscribe button. I know brother Shiva, but he be working. He worked them swing shifts, So when I see him on, I be saying, I get you, brother. I get you, brother. I get you. But let's go to the next point. Peleg. Because we're going to talk about this thing, Peleg. I sent that out as well about Pangea. Because the Elamites went over into the Middle East. Okay, they went over into the Middle East. And they mixed in Japheth's lineage, the Medes or Medea mixed in with the Elamites. And that's how you end up with the Persians. Now, the Persians are a group of the Midianites. They were different tribes. They mixed in with each other to became a Persians. Okay, then when they went into that region, they mixed in with the Elamites. They became what is called the Iranians. Okay, and some of the Afghanistan, some of India, what they call India today. Some of those are the same people. Go ahead, what you got?
We never read Psalms 83, 4 and 5. Did you want to wait on that?
Yeah, I was getting ready to get into yeah. No, but go ahead. Let's see who's no, go ahead. Let's see who's the Japheth's enemies. Let's go ahead. What you got?
Okay. Psalms 83, 4 and 5. It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Okay, go ahead. Who's confederate against them? Who's confederates against the Israelites? Verse 6.
The tabernacles of Edom.
All right, stop right there. Who is the Edomites? Brother Marcus say, if you knew you were connected to the Most High personally, would you do as you do? LOL. You- All right, let's if you knew you was connected to the Most High, we wouldn't be doing the things we do. We wouldn't. We would not. We'd be trying to claw ourselves back to that will.
But see, that fear is gone in us. And that's dangerous.
That's dangerous. Who are the Edomites? Who are they to Israel? Who is the Edomites to Israel? We know they're the enemies, but who are they family-wise? That's Israel's brother. That's Esau. Who is the next name?
The Ishmaelites of Moab.
Who? The Ishmaelites. Who is the Ishmaelites to Esau? I mean to Israel. Esau is the brother to Jacob. Who are the Ishmaelites to Jacob? Because Abraham had who?
What the Moab, they were born to Lot.
Not the Moab. We talk about the Moab. We talk about the Ishmaelites. Who are the Ishmaelites to Israel? Because Abraham's first son was called who? Ishmael. Those are the Ishmaelites. They are who to the Israelites? It's the Ishmaelites, and then you had Isaac. They were brothers. They are, and the Ishmaelites, Ishmael had sons. And Isaac had sons. So they are considered what?
Cousins.
They are cousins. The Ishmaelites is your cousins. So now your brother is against you, is your enemy. Your cousins is your enemy. Who's the next one?
Of Moab.
Who is the Moabites to Israel? Those are Lot's sons. Lot was who to Abraham? That was Abraham's what?
That's his cousin.
No, that was not
Nephew,
Abraham's cousin.
nephew.
That was his nephew. So if Lot was Abraham's nephew, and Abraham was Jacob's what? Grandfather. And Abraham, that was Abraham's grandfather. Watch this. And Lot was Abraham's nephew. And Abraham have two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. And Lot have 2 sons, which is the nephew have Moab and the Ammonites. What are they in family? Who are the Moabites in the lineage of family to the Israelites? See, I'm showing you that this is your family who's against you. This ain't just anybody. This is your family, people. If you're an Israelite, your family hates you. Who is the Moabites to the Israelites? They're not no distant people. That's your household. So if Abraham was the grandfather to, because you had Abraham, you had Isaac, you had Jacob, and then you had the 12 tribes. So Abraham is the 4th generation from the Israelites, the 4th generation. Lot was the same. He was the 4th or the 5th generation because that was Abraham's brother. So Lot was if Abraham was the 4th generation, Lot was the 3rd generation. What is Moab to the Israelites? Moab is an African nation. Why would Moab be an African nation? Because Moab was Lot's, that was Abraham's nephew. That was Abraham's nephew. So whatever Abraham was, that's what Lot was, because his brother, because that's Abraham's brother. So if I had a brother, or I have 6 brothers? I have 6 brothers. And each one of my brothers have a child. That means I have a nephew. So when my nephew have children, what is that to me? I become their what? I become a grand uncle. Then, so pass it to 3 generations. What does that make you? What does that make you? Abraham was the 4th generation from Israel. Brother Marcus say brothers to Ishmaelites. So you saying Moab would be brothers to the Ishmaelites? I'm trying to figure out your point. Sister Latoya say all of them were cousins except Esau was Israel's brother. Not the Moabs. Because as Moab was Abraham's nephew, and Moab, because they'd be, but they won't just be cousins. There'll be 3 generations of cousins. Because Abraham, hold on, you might be right, Sister Latoya. Because if Abraham and his brother, because his brother got killed, and Abraham's son, his brother's son went with him. And then Abraham had Isaac, Ishmael, which would be cousins. And then Jacob, they'd be cousins. You're right, they'd be cousins. Yeah, they'd be that'd be a great grand uncle. Moab would be like they'd be like grand cousins. Because there'd be 3 generations. That'd be the 3rd generation. Moab, because Lot would be the 3rd, Moab would be the 2nd, and then Moab would be the 2nd, because Abraham didn't have Isaac yet. So Moab would be older. Moab would be older than Isaac and Ishmaelite. They would be grand cousins. Yeah, or great cousins. So it's not like these your enemies are unfamiliar to you. Who is the next enemy?
Hagarenes.
Hagarenes. Who are the Hagarenes? Okay. I mean, that's a good point, but that's a good point, Sister Latoya. She said, I think it's like our grandparents having multiple children by different grandchildren, by different kids. I think you mean by different people. I think the grandkids would be cousins. I think that's true, but you could be right, but I'm sure. I mean, you could be right. I'm just showing you that they are all connected lineage wise. Your enemy is your lineage. Who are the Hagarenes? Who are the Hagarenes? I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into that Moab thing and bring out the lineage next week. Who are the Hagarenes? Nobody don't know who the Hagarites is?
Those are Arabs.
Are they?
I think they are.
Why you say that?
It mentions about Syria and Egypt.
Okay, the Hagarites. Who are their father?
The Reubenites. I don't know if this is correct, but it says about the tribes of Reuben and Gad.
No, the
not...
Hagarites ain't from tribe of Reuben and Gad. The Hagarites. Who are the Hagarites? Let me see who know who the Hagarites are. Go to 1 Chronicles 5 and 10. They are Arabs. They are an Arab tribe. First Chronicles 5 and 10. Oh, she said she said they dwelt in Galilee. Put the scripture verse up there, sis. I need a cord. Y'all give me a minute. Give me a minute.
First Chronicles 5 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And in the days of Saul, they made war with the Hagarites, who fell by their hand, and they dwelt in their tents throughout all the east land of Gilead.
Gilead, right. So they dwelt in the east, and they did what now? In Galilee? That's Galilee or Gilead?
It said they dwelt in their tents throughout all the east land of Gilead.
Gilead. Okay, and they made war with these people. See, that's what they did. They made war. And in those days of Saul, they waged war against the Hagarites. Why we don't talk about that? Why we don't get into these stories? They've waged war against the Hagarites. Who are the fathers of the Hagarites? Who fell into their land, and they lived in the tents throughout all the region of Gilead. Who are the fathers of the Hagarites? Anybody know who's the father of the Hagarites? Let's get another scripture. Let's see if we can get it. Let's go to stay in First Chronicles. Go to First Chronicles 27:31. Who are the fathers? No, not I don't want that one. Who are the fathers of the Hagarites? Let's go to Psalms 83. Well, no, we into that one. Excuse me. Who are the fathers of the Hagarites? Because the Bible tells you that is your enemy. Who is the father of the Hagarites? Give you a little bit more time before I give you the answer. And I know some people say, "Well, you go ahead and give the answer." Who are the father of the Hagarites? Who are they a part of? That's right, Brother Marcus. What you about to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that it said the Hagarites were associated with Ishmael.
Yeah, because that's what Brother Marcus put up. Hey guys, the Ishmael, the matriarch. That's the matriarch of the Ishmaelites. They associated with the Ishmaelites mentioned in the Hebrew Bible that inhabits the region of Jethur or Jetur, Nepish, and Nodab, lying east of Galilee. So Gilead. So they are in the Gilead region. Those are your Ishmaelites. Those are your Arabs. Those are your enemies as well. And guess what? So now we understand the Persians. They are mixed with Japhet. And now the Ishmaelites. So who are the Ishmaelites to Israel? Cousins. They still going back to the Greek, you know what I'm saying? To that cousin side. That half cousin, well, I ain't gonna say half cousin, it's Abraham's concubine wife. That's your enemy. That's your enemy. Who's the next enemy? Who's the next enemy? The Hagarenes, and who else? Psalms 83:6.
Okay, so that was all of them. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes. Then verse 7 says, Gabal.
Gabal. Who's that? Gobel. Gebel. Who is that? Who's the Gebelites? Gebelites. Who is they? Who is Gabal? So far, we talking about your house. Everybody that's kin to you. Somehow they are connected to Israel is your enemy. Who is Gobal or Gebal? Who are they? Go to 1 Kings 5:18. 1 Kings 5:18. Who are Gebal? So far, everybody that we called out so far in Psalms 83 that's supposed to be confederate against you is somehow kin to Israel. Notice we haven't called Japhet yet. We haven't called Japhet yet. So who is Gebal? Who are they? First Kings 5:18. Who is the Gabaldians or the Gabaldites?
The Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders did hew them, and the stone quarters. So, is that right?
First Kings 5:18.
Yeah. And so they prepared timber and stone to build a house.
Okay. What nation is the Cabal today? Who are the Cabaldians? Who are the Cabaldians today? It's your brother. Who's your enemy? That's your first brother. Okay, Sister Latoya say Tyree Canaanites. How you get that, sis? Like how they say, hot, you're hot, you're hot, you're hot, you're hot. Oh, you're getting cold, you're getting cold, you're getting hot, 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 hot. You getting hot, sis. How did you get the Canaanites? How do you get the Canaanites? Because if you notice what Psalms 83 did and what it's doing and how they rank your enemies, she put up 2 Samuel 24:7. 2 Samuel 24:7. If you notice what they're doing towards your enemies, they ranking them according to lineage. If you notice that, they're ranking them according to the lineage. They're not ranking them just to put them out there. Just say, oh, this your enemy, this your enemy. This. No, they're ranking them according to the nations of your lineage. She say, and it came to the stronghold of Tyre, and to all the cities of Hivite and the Canaanites, and they went out to the south of Judah, even to Beersheba, Haram Tyre. And Haram, king of Tyre, sent message to David, the cedar trees and carpenters and masons, and they built David an house. Okay, how do you know? But if I want to play the devil's advocate, I say, well, I don't see Gabal there. How do you get Cabal? How do you get Tyre to be Cabal? I'm just playing devil's advocate. How do you get Tyre to be Cabal? See, this is where we stop and we start to look. So this will start killing a lot of the myths that they've been perpetuating about the Bible in a lot of the history of who these people are. What you got?
Ezekiel 27:9.
Okay, what you got?
It says the ancients of Gabal and the wise men thereof were in thee. They caulkers and all the ships of the sea with their mariners were in thee to occupy thy merchandise.
So the cabal are sea merchants. They ride the ships, and what they do? What did the scripture say they did?
Say that the caulkers and all the ships of the sea with their mariners. So they were like traders.
They were traders. These were sea merchants. The cabals were traders. They were people who trade. They were traders. That's why I say, since you in the right place, you in the right place on the dealing with the Canaanites. They are traders. They trade. They were people who sailed. Who was the ones that sailed? See, it wasn't just the Phoenician. They were part of the Phoenician people. Yes, and they were Canaanites, sis. That's why I say you are. I just want to you come out with a bunch of scriptures too. Second Samuel, Sister Latoya put up 2 Samuel 5:11, and Haram, the king of Tyre, sent messengers to David and cedar trees, and they built the house. They built David's a house, and she also put up Psalms 83:7, and Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines. Well, we going over that now, but yeah, Gabal is part of Tyre. That's the Canaanites. I'm gonna show y'all that the Canaanites did migrate all over the earth. They migrated all over the earth. The next one is who? After Gabal. We know Gabal is a part of the nation of Tyre.
And Ammon.
Who is Ammonites? Who is the Ammonites? Who are the Ammonites? Who are the Ammonites? Where did the Ammonites come from? Or Ammon? See, this will kill them posters on the corner. With a lot of these people be holding, talking about these are the Israelites, they are spread all over the earth. That's right. You got to come and see where your origin at on this poster. That's right. You gonna kill all that. Who are Ammon? Where did Ammon come from? Who are the father of the Ammonites? Who are the fathers of Ammon?
The Ben Amis was the son of Lot and his younger daughter.
That's Lot's youngest. That's Lot's youngest daughter's son. Go ahead.
Genesis 19:37-38.
And what it says. That's Lot's youngest daughter. You think that Moab was going to be the only one? You think that we talk about that? We talk about Moab all the time, but the Ammonites is against you too. The Ammonites, they're against you. They're not the same as the Amorites, but we talk about the Ammonites, Ammon, Moab and Ammon. That's your enemy too. Go ahead.
Okay. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. And the same is the father of the Moabite unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called the name Ben Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day.
See, so there's those two. Those are both of
Lot's.
Lot's seed line. So Lot's seed line is against you. So far, Ishmael, some of Ishmael's seed line is against you, and your own brother Esau is against you. You see that? The only one so far that's not your bloodline is the Gabal. Who's the next one after Ammon?
Amalek.
Amalek. The Bible says he's going to be warned. He's going to be warned from generation to generation with an Amalek. Who is an Amalek? Who's the father of the Amalekites? Who's the father of Amalek? Exodus 17:16. I'm going to read. For he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. So the Israelites going to constantly keep fighting these people. And I wonder why we don't talk about this. Who is the Amalek? Who is Amalek? Latoya put up Genesis 36:12. And Tina was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. So that's another son. That's another son of who? Esau. Family, most of your enemies is your house. Most of your let me slow it down. Let me push the brake a little bit. We're coming down the hill. We're coming down the hill. Most of your enemies that the Bible said that's going to be confederate against you is kin to you, some fashion, some form. You're not, see, we talk about these foreigners. We always talk about these foreigners, but it ain't the foreigners that is against you so much. It's your own people. Why is it that we skip over this? Why we skip over this? This is one of Esau's sons, and he said they're going to be warned. The Creator said he's going to be warned with this particular seed line of Esau from generation to generation. Exodus 17:16. But these camps talking about, oh, it's the white man, it's the white man, it's the white man. That's Esau, that's Esau. Family. Most of the people that is against you and have confederate against you, some way, some form, somehow, is your bloodline or part of your bloodline. So you ain't got to be going looking too far for your enemy. Your enemy is sitting right in your face. And some of your enemies are sitting in your house. And what else? It says, and after Moab and after the Hagarenes, Gorbom, Amalek, you got the Philistines. Who's the Philistines? Hey, shalom, shalom, brother Isaiah. Good to see you, brother. Happy Shabbat. Happy Shabbat to you as well, brother. Make sure when you come into the building, you press that like and subscribe button if you like what you hear. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Who are the Philistines?
Genesis 10 and 14.
What it says, who are they?
It says, and patriotism and Cassius, out of whom came Philistine, the captain.
Right. Who are the father? Ham. The Philistines, that's one of Ham's sons. Gabal is another Ham's son. So far we talking about two of Ham's sons, one of Ishmaelite sons, but the rest of them are your cousins. And one of them are your brother. Your enemy is the people who's familiar with you. Your enemies are the people who are familiar with you, family. Psalms 83. And the inhabitants of Tyre. Now that's very. Now I want you to understand, it's when it says the inhabitants of Tyre, is it talking about the nation of Tyre?
Those that's inhabited around that land.
Those are the ones who inhabit that land today. They became your enemy, meaning they could have migrated there. Those are a mixture of people. So it never mentioned who they were. It never mentioned who they were. Where's Tyre at today? Where is Tyre at today? Just doing a little geography today. Huh?
Is it in Lebanon?
Tyre, that's the Tyre is, it says it's in Lebanon. Is it? They say Tyre is Lebanon, north of Jerusalem. So I want you to keep that in mind. Those people, not just, now watch this. Now that's the people who a lot of you feel sorry for that's being bombed. That's Tyre. Those are the Tyrians. But now I want you to pay attention. Now they're not just over there, but they're also over here as well. We're going to talk about that. Because the first thing they always do is place you somewhere over there. So let's talk about Peleg. Peleg. Genesis 10:25. What you got? Genesis 10:25.
It says, and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided. And his brother's name was Joktan.
Okay, so Eber had two sons, Peleg and Joktan. Okay. And it says in Peleg day was the earth divided. Now, right there, people say, oh, that's when Pangea happened. Is that what they're talking about? When the earth was divided? That Pangea, the land split? Is that what they're talking about? In those days was the earth divided. Is that talking about Pangea? When Africa and all that split away from each other? Is that what they're talking about? In his day, during Peleg's time, earth was divided. Is that what they're talking about? The earth was divided by the land during Peleg's time. Go to 1 Chronicles 1, verse 19. First Chronicles, the first chapter, verse 19. Is that talking about during Peleg's time, the earth was divided? Meaning the land split. Because a lot of people use Peleg and say, oh, see, the land split during that time. No, it did not.
It says, and unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of the one was Peleg, because in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan.
Okay, now go to Genesis, the 11th chapter. Jump back to Genesis, the 11th chapter. Now we're going to find out what the split was. Because the earth was not divided land-wise. The earth, like there was a big old split and everything just, split. It just went haywire and the earth just floated around, like what people call it Pangea. When people talk about Pangea, I don't think they know what the hell they talk about. And then they use this scripture, well, see, during the time of Peleg, see, the land was divided. See, the land was divided means the earth just scattered itself. See, Africa and South America, it was together at one time. And I'm going to tell you, it was. It was, family. Africa and South America was one at one time. But see, so you telling me that Pangea never happened when the land split? Well, I'm going to show you how the land split, family. But it never happened during Peleg's time. Genesis 11 chapter, start at verse 1. What you got?
And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
Now, what that mean right there? The whole earth was of one language and one speech. That mean everybody spoke the same thing? Does that mean that everybody spoke the same language? Like let's just take English. Everybody was speaking English at one time? Is that what they're talking about? Is that talking about everybody spoke Arabic or Hebrew one time before? Or Akkadian one time before? Is that what they're talking about? No. Everything was so close, everybody understood the language of themselves and of others. Because you got to remember, Noah had what? 3 sons. And for Noah having 3 sons, you think Noah taught all 3 of his sons different languages? No. He taught them the same language. So after the flood, what you think happened when they migrated or they took hold of their lands? Everybody came up with a what? Different culture. But everybody understood the language of themselves because they were from the same house. Now, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Go ahead, keep reading.
And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar.
So people are journeying now from the east. So if they journeyed from the east, that means they went what? From the east, they went west. And they found a plain. And that plain is now called Shinar. All right, keep going.
And they dwelt there.
And they dwelt there. Keep going.
And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Go ahead.
And they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
So why they want to make this thing broad, and they realize if they make it broad, they'll be scattered? That means they knew something that a lot of people ain't talking about. What are they talking about? They say, let us make this thing unless we be scattered. What? Why would they be scattered? What are they talking about? What are they talking about? It says, and it came to pass that let us build a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name. What's going on here? Lest we be scattered abroad. What name are they talking about?
They're trying to make their own name for themselves.
They're trying to, they're trying to make a name for themselves, but what name are they talking about? What is this tower that they're trying to build?
Is this the Tower of Babel?
It's the Tower of Babel. What was Tower of Babel for? Let's read it again. It says, and they say, let us go and build us a city. Okay, you got a city. All right. There's a city there. They're going to build a city. And then it says from the city, they're going to also build a what? A tower. What do a tower represent?
A place to look out.
Okay, it's a lookout place. All right. And it says whose top may reach heaven. Now, why do they want this top to reach heaven?
So they're able to see everything that's below or around.
No. You don't need your top to reach heaven. Whose top may reach heaven. They want their top to reach heaven. Why? Why do they need their top to reach heaven? Because upon that top, they say whose top is going to reach heaven. Let's see what Sister Latoya said. When they trying to reach into heaven to put their God there, their kingdom, they wanted to war with the Creator. Correct. That was a tower to put their Creator's name on it. Okay, brother Isaiah said to make war with the Creator. Correct. But they need it. But notice what they're doing. They tower had to reach up to be able for the Creator to see their God name. And that God name is going to be what? If the tower going to reach as high as they can build it, who's able to see that tower? Everyone that was upon the earth. Everyone that was upon the earth. Everyone that was upon the earth. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you a map. I'm going to go to this brother's video. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. Give me 1 second. Let me put it up. Let me show you the map. Oh, come on. Okay, here we go. I want to show you the map. This is how the earth looked before Pangea. Oh, stream y'all being slow today. I don't know what they got going on. Wow. There we go.
Okay, so that makes sense.
I don't know why I'm still trying to do that when I paused it. But we got it. We got it in. Just give it a few. Stream y'all just doing a little funny thing today. But I'm gonna blow it up. If you can see them, if you can see it. This is the brothers video. You can see Africa, Europe, Asia, India is over here. Okay. And you can see Atlantis, Hideko, North America, Lemuria, South America. And up at the top where pole is where Nod was. All right. Now, if they are building a tower where it can reach heaven because of how close the land was at one time, everyone would be able to see it. And that name will be now what? Prevalent across the earth. Everybody will be able to see it. Everyone will be able to see the name. That's why if you look at what it says, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So that name is what's going to bring people back together. Regardless of your language and your speech. That name is what everybody's going to go by and what everyone is going to what? Yield to, that name. That's when it says everyone was of what? Of one language and one speech, meaning they have the God that they want to serve. Yeah, that's what it's talking about. It didn't matter where you come from. You came to help build that tower. And everybody came around from wherever they were to help contribute into that building of the tower. This is what this was talking about. And they all yielded to that one name. They yielded to that one name. Let's keep going. Let's go to verse 5, what it says.
And the Creator came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men build.
So now you talking about a city and a tower. See, we only talk about the Tower of Babel, but we don't talk about the city that encompassed that tower. Because the tower was separate from the city. Upon that tower, they built that thing so high that guess what happened? They put a name on it and they kept building and building and building. And everybody was recognizing that name as their God. That's how you want to make war with the Creator? Start doing that. You'll see what happens. And the Creator sent an angel, a messenger, just to see what was going on. And you think the angel just came just to look across, or you think the angel came in to talk to people? The angel came in to see exactly how the people's mind was. And everybody who was into that project was all in one accord. And what happened? Let's keep going. What it says.
And the Creator said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
What it means that they are one, and they have one language. Does that mean everybody speaking the same language? English? Everybody speaking the same language, Spanish or Akkadian or Hebrew? No, they're talking about the same God. Everybody's in the same frame mind of God. And they're not thinking about the Creator no more. It's gone. That's done. These people are building everything for this particular name. They ain't doing it for the creator's name. They doing it for another God's name. And the creator realized these people, hey, you know what? If this ain't stopped, this whole thing gonna spread across the whole earth. That's what he's saying. This whole thing is gonna spread across the whole earth. What it says, what's the next verse?
Go to, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
What that mean? That's a cruel creator if he gonna confound them when everybody was speaking the same language. So did he confound their? What it means he confounded their language? What the word confound means? He confounded their language. What does that mean? That they may not understand their language. What does that mean? Confound.
It means to cause surprise or confusion.
Mm-hmm. Why did the creator need to create confusion?
Well, if they can't understand one another, then they can't complete the task that they're trying to do.
Well, yes, but there was something bigger than that. Why did the creator need to confuse the language?
To show them that it's him and him only.
Not just that, but here's the point, the reason why the creator needed to confuse the language. Because when everybody was sitting there serving the same God, they were sitting there going by the same name. What does that do to the creator's will now? What happens to the creator's will? Because if the creator had purposed you to magnify his name and to do other things for him on this earth, but now you have something else springing up across this earth, what does that do to you who has a purpose?
It's causing a distraction.
It's a distraction. Now his will is now being hampered. So the creator said, no. Everybody don't need to be sitting there calling on this name. Everybody don't need to be sitting there following this particular direction. Now what's happening is the creator now is going to bring judgment. Okay. And then when he says he's going to confound, it means he's going to bring confusion. That confusion is not like we say, oh, it's a confusion. You know, everybody is confused now. No, everybody's not confused. Everybody's went back to the will of themselves, of their culture. Everybody's not under the one culture no more. Everybody's moving back to their own culture. That's the confusion. See, Ham people can be Ham now. The Ishmaelites or whoever can be Ishmaelites now. Moab can be Moab. Everybody's not under trying to serve this one God. That whoever created that name. Like in other words, during Daniel's time, what did the king say when you hear this bell or these horns? Bow down and begin to worship. And Daniel he refused. And the three Hebrew boys refused to what? Bow down and worship. But it says everybody during that time, when they heard the bell or the horns, everybody went and bowed. Except the three Hebrew boys. So the creator, he brought confusion. And when the three Hebrew boys did not bow, it brought confusion within that kingdom. And that's what the creator is talking about. He's about to bring the confusion. People that goes what? Against. Okay? So then when he say where's that everybody's not going to be able to speak, and then which they have what? Imagined to do. Verse 7 says what? Let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. Then verse 8 says, so the creator scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. So now they are scattered all abroad. That's the day the earth was divided. That is the day the earth was divided. He divided the languages. He divided the cultures back according to themselves. Every fruit tree has its own theme, purpose, will, that it must produce an apple, it must produce an orange. You don't see an orange tree trying to do what an apple tree does. So why everybody is trying to be under one accord when the Creator didn't purpose that? Zephaniah, the 10th chapter, verse 9 and 10. The Creator didn't purpose that. So he says he divided everything so that everybody won't be under one speech. So the Creator scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city. Therefore, the name of it was called Babel. Babel means confusion. He purposed for you not to be able to speak as one under a pagan. He refused. The Creator did not want every person to be under a pagan name, a pagan culture. And then that paganism spread throughout the earth. No, he refused that. It was called Babel, because the Creator did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Creator scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. So everybody went their own way. So when everybody went their own way, and if everybody was scattered and had the same language, and they say the Creator scattered them so that they won't speak a language, how is it that scattering me will stop me from speaking English? Because if nobody else was there in that area when I got there, that means I'm going to continue speaking the same language I spoke when I left the place when I was scattered. So you can't tell me when I got there, if I was speaking one language over here and the Creator scattered us, but there's nobody else that was there, no culture, I became indigenous there. How in the world I'm going to stop speaking what I was speaking? Tell me if that makes sense to you. Tell me if that makes sense to you. That means you already have to have your language already. You came up under a banner to serve a God that will put in front of you. And that thing began to spread across this earth. And the Creator nullified it and sent everybody back to their own spots. This is not where you're supposed to be. Zephaniah, the 10th chapter, verse 9. What you got? Zephaniah, the 10th chapter. No, the first chapter. What you got? Zephaniah 1 and 9.
In the same day also will I punish all those that leap on the threshold, which fill their masters' houses with violence and deceit.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Creator, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills.
So in other words, the Creator, he said he's going to punish when you bring stuff into the master's house. That means when you don't have no control of anything that you were given over, the Creator is going to punish you. He's going to punish you, family. Now, I'm gonna type this word into the chat. Abyssinia. Who ever heard of Abyssinia? That's ABYSSIANIA. That's ABYSSINIA. Who ever heard of that? And where is that? Abyssinia. Where is this place? Abyssinia.
It says it's an Ethiopian empire and it's in Ethiopia.
So Abyssinia, if you never heard of Abyssinia, that was called Ethiopia. And that was the Ethiopian Empire. What river run next to Abyssinia? What river runs next to Abyssinia? Sister Latoya, Brother Trey, Sister Zipporah, Brother Isaiah, Brother Marcus, what river run next to Abyssinia? What river runs next to Abyssinia? Brother Chavez say that's Ethiopia. Okay. Sister Joanne say the river that runs next to Abyssinia is the Nile. Okay. So my question is, can you pull up the Ethiopian Sea? Where's the Ethiopian Sea? Abyssinia.
It says that the Ethiopian Sea has the Ethiopian Ocean. It's west of Africa and south of the equator.
Oh, so the Ethiopian Sea is west of Africa. I just put up Abyssinia right up here. It says Abyssinia was an ancient region in the Horn of Africa situated in the northern highlands of modern Turkey, Ethiopia, or Eritrea. The term was widely used as a synonym for Ethiopia until the mid-20th century, and primarily designated the Ahara Tigania, or whatever that is, inhabited highlands of Ethiopia or Eritrea. So that means that land, Ethiopia today, is not called Ethiopia. It was not called Ethiopia back then. It was called the Abyssinian. So if let's just put, if that was Ethiopia back then and not the land of Abyssinia, why isn't the sea next? Why is the Ethiopian Sea west of that? Why is it west? Why is the Ethiopian Sea west? It's on the other side of the continent.
It's saying that if it's on the west of Africa, it says the waters north of the equator are named the Mare Atlanticum, which is the Atlantic Sea.
Yes, the Ethiopian Sea, The Ethiopian Sea is called the Atlantic. But why is the Ethiopian Sea not where Ethiopia is? Ethiopia is on the east part of Africa, but the Ethiopian Sea is on the west. Why is that? The whole land was not called Ethiopia.
It was saying that the land that it started, well, the ocean, the Ethiopian Ocean, it started to disappear.
I can't hear you.
Oh, it says that the Ethiopian Ocean started to disappear.
Did it? Okay, that's fine. They say the Ethiopian Ocean started to disappear. What caused it to disappear? Because go to Genesis, the second chapter, verse 15. Let's see what the scripture says about the river that compassed Ethiopia. Because that country over there that we call Ethiopia was called Abyssinia. I'm showing it to you right here on the thing. I told you to look it up for yourself. It was called Abyssinia. It was never called Ethiopia until the 20th century. That's a 20th century name, Ethiopia or Ethiopia. Yes.
Genesis 2 and 10. Okay, it says, and the river went out of the end to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into four heads. The name of the first is Pison, that is it which compasses the whole land of Haviah or Hivala, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the oxen stone. And the name of the second river is the Gihon.
Mm-hmm.
The same is it that compasses the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, and it is which goeth towards the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is the Euphrates.
So if the whole river compass around, it says that's the first river or the second river that compass the whole land of Ethiopia.
The first one is which compass the whole land of Haviah. But the one that compass the whole land of Ethiopia, is that the one you wanted?
Yeah, the river that compass that compass around Ethiopia.
The Gihon.
That's the Gihon River. It compass around the whole land of Ethiopia, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, my question is this right here. Was South America in Africa one? Was they one people? Or was it one land? Is South America, did the land of South America, the continent of South America, and the continent of Africa, was it one? I showed y'all the map just a few minutes ago. What caused those lands to split? What caused the land of South Africa, of Africa and South America and Africa to split? What caused the split? And I'm sharing the map where you can see it. I know you got to kind of blow it up on your phone or whatever you're looking at. You can see where it tells you that South America was called Ethiopia. But not only South America was Ethiopia, South America, but also Africa was called, the east part of Africa was called Ethiopia. There was a certain part of of Africa was a part of Ethiopia. Not all Africa was Ethiopia. It was a certain part on the east was called Ethiopia. And
Like
South
Kenya?
Africa was called Ethiopia, huh?
Like Kenya?
Why you say Kenya?
We were saying that there was a rift in Ethiopia and Kenya that's on the continent of Africa.
Okay. Now, what's inside of South America and Africa that connects those two lands together? And it's in the Bible. What's inside of South America and Africa that had connected those two lands together? It's in the Bible and it's in the book of Job. I'm going to give y'all the stone. It's called topaz. And it's in the book of Job. Topaz. This is how you know that these two continents was together. Job, the 28th chapter, verse 19 and 20. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. Job, the 20th chapter, verse 19 and 20. You're talking about the topaz. 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 Job, the 20th chapter, verse 19 and 20. Topaz. Got it? Job 28, 19 and 20.
Job 28, verse 19. The topaz of Ethiopia shall not equal it, neither shall it be valued with pure gold.
So it's telling you the topaz was the thing that that Ethiopia had. That's 19 to 20.
Chapter 28 and 19, verse 19.
Verse 20 as well.
Oh, verse 20 says, whence then cometh wisdom, and where is the place of understanding?
So you have to realize that South America is one time connected with Africa. Because if you pull up the map of the topaz, I don't know this thing acting up now. If you pull up the map of the topaz, you will see there's topaz on South America, West, and Africa on the east. You'll see how in that little corridor that fits together, it's a bunch of topaz in Africa. That continent where it comes together, it fits right there. It fits right there in the midst. All right. So now, Sister Latoya put up Zechariah 14:5. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal, yea, shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake of the city. Okay. Now, people say, oh, Africans came here before Columbus. And this is the reason why they tell you that we are all Africans. This is one of the reasons. I'm just kind of walking this thing through. They tell you, well, Africans was coming here before Columbus. Well, I want you to type in this right here. Type in Abukari of Mali. That's ABU. That's ABUBAKARI of Mali. I want you to type that in. Sent ships to America 200 years before Columbus. Abukari, ABUBAKARI of Mali. Sent ships to America before Columbus. I want y'all to what it says. Who is Abukari? I'm gonna put him up on the screen.
He's the ruler of the Mali Empire, told an Egyptian official whom he had befriended that he had come to rule when his predecessors led a large fleet in an attempt to cross the Atlantic Ocean and never returned.
So he came from Mali over here to South America. You can see what I put up about Abukari II. Mansa, king of Mali Empire in the 14th century, led Malian sailors to the Americas, specifically present-day Brazil, almost 200 years before Columbus arrived. So Africans, so-called Africans, were already coming here. Not here to North America, but to South America. But go ahead.
Saying that, so I guess he attempted to do what Columbus was trying to do in his time, but he did it first.
He did it first. So this is the reason why they tell you that some Africans came here first. The family, South America and Africa is one of the same. Those are Ham's territories.
They were just going from different parts of the territory.
They were just going from different parts of the territory. So family, a lot of these people who you think is in the South are Israel, they're not. They're not of your people. Topaz is found in South America and over in Africa and all up in Russia. They are one of the same. South America and east part of Africa are one of the same. Before the continent came into a division. He came here, he sailed here to Brazil. So black folks was already there. But we say, oh, see, that's part of Israel. Like that ain't Israel, that's Ham. That's Ham's territory. get into some pictures with this brother. This brother, they were already going back and forth. Go to Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, real quick. Watch what the Creator says about you. Watch what he say. Start at verse 4 or 5.
It says, "For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Creator be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
Go, keep going.
But thus shall ye deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire.
Keep going.
For thou art an holy people unto the Creator. The Creator that God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Creator did not set his love upon you, nor chose you, because ye were more in number.
Stop right there. He didn't choose you because you was a great people. No, we're gonna keep going. He didn't choose you because you were more in number. But go ahead.
Than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people.
That means these other nations had more people than you. So they're gonna be spread out more than you. They're gonna have more territory than you. They're gonna be more powerful than you. So why would you think Israel is all over the place if you're going to be few in numbers?
Were they talking about the part of Israel that converted to other like religions and other nations?
Israel converted to other religions?
Well, I mean, you said about why do they think that Israel was spread out? It's people thinking that because they're not looking at the ones that are few in number, but the ones that decided to do their own thing.
Well, eventually if they go and do their own thing, they're going to bleed themselves out through the blood. Because like Esau went in and had sex with other females from other nations, and Esau bled himself out. So he's no longer called Esau, he's called Amalek. You see what I'm saying? He's Amalek, he's this, he's that. The same way like the Elamites from Shem. They migrated and mixed in with who? Media. Now they are not called Elamite no more. They're called who? Iranians. They're called Afghanistan.
So once that bloodline is mixed out, then how can you even come back?
You can't. How you clean your blood out?
They try to recycle it, but it's not pure anymore.
It's never pure when it's mixed. And this is the reason why they're pouring into your community, hoping that females, you mix with other nations. In these camps, they want you to mix with these other nations. They tell you Esau is the who? The white man. They tell you Moab is the Asians. Next week, I'm gonna show you who the Asians are. Because if you never figure out who these people are, you're going to be like this brother here. Let me pull him back up. And I'm just starting to cook. You're going to be like this brother here. You're going to be like this brother here. I'm just starting to cook. If you don't know who the people are in the area, how do you tell me you know who Israel is? How do you know who Israel is if you don't even know who the people are? See, this is the reason why a lot of people like in these camps, are sleeping, especially the women, are sleeping with these so-called Mexicans, these Latinos. And they calling the Native Americans that's on these reservations, they calling them the 10 tribes. And every Native American or every Aboriginal person was not an Israelite. But you can see on the screen, family, Abu Bakari II. These are drawings of him. We closing out in a few. We're closing out in a minute. These are some drawings of this brother. You can see it. His brother looked just like some of us over here in America. If you look at him. Let me see if I can pull him up. His brother looked just like some of us over here. This is what I'm talking about. He looked just like some of us. Let me blow him up. He looked just like some of us. But he's a Hamite. You see? He's a Hamite. He's a Hamite, family. He's a Hamite. Anybody got any last words? He's a Hamite. You see him coming on shores? Look at him coming on shores. Coming on shores, family. These are Hamites. And if you let people tell it, they'll call them Israelites because they got the same skin tone as you and look like you. But they're not even your people. Do you hate these people? No, you don't hate them. For what? But you just got to know who's who. Now I'm going to close out with this video. I'm going to stop sharing this one. And I'm going to close out with this video. In fact, no, I'm going to go ahead and close out. I say the video for next week because we're going to go into Ham. And we're going to finish getting into some of the names. Any last comments in the chat? Any last comments over here? If you don't know who's who, how do you know where Israel is? Most of the people that's your enemies are from your own blood. From Abraham or from Shem. Period. Something to think about. Most of these people that's in Psalms 83 is either from Abraham, but mainly from Shem. So don't come tell me about nobody else when the Bible tells you who your enemy is. Any last words? You got nothing? So we thank the Creator. You got any? Go ahead.
So I was just thinking back, or just will encourage anybody who's listening who has children that's growing up, just to teach them to ask the questions. Don't just look at the pigmentation of somebody. Find out and just ask the questions like we used to do back in the day. Our mothers and grandmothers say, well, who are your people? You look like so-and-so, or you don't look like so-and-so. Do the research so that way you're not mixing out who you are with somebody you don't need to be with.
Exactly. And light skin don't mean that you're not a Negro. So skin tone doesn't necessarily mean that you are not my people. And skin tone don't necessarily mean you are my people. You see? That's why you have to go by the blood, the records, the people. They know who they are. We just refuse to go back home. And a lot of these people have infiltrated our communities because we've been listening to liars. And some of those people who you've been listening to are from those people who infiltrated your community.
Because they look like you thought they were you.
Next week, you're going to see. We're gonna go even further. Abu Bakari, the land, they built the tower because they wanted a name there, one God across the earth. Huh? That's what they want. Abyssinia. That's Ethiopia. That was the real name. See? And the Persians, you know who the Persians are now. So family, we thank you for joining me. It's Moreh Ya'Qob. I hope you learned something today. Make sure you press that like and subscribe button. Let my like match my views. And if you want somebody to hear this message, make sure you press that share button and send it to them. But we thank you for joining me. This is Moreh Ya'Qob and ITFTR Network. Next week, we'll be coming on a Friday. We'll be coming on a Friday in the Creator's will. So we thank the Creator for you joining us. We ask the Creator allow our weeks to be prosperous, blessed, and as we move, that you bless somebody. Remember, the third week of this month, we have what is called an award. I'm going to be giving each person that was following this channel an award, and those who also participated also has a special award. All right, and I will be giving it away online. And everybody who I also be texting, okay, during the week, make sure you send your name, I spell, to this number, 912-604-5182. Text it to that number. If I don't get your name, then don't look at me like I tell the kids, don't look at me with a long eye like you don't like me. No, I don't like you. You just never gave me your name. I need your name. Let me call the number out again. 912-604-5182. Text your name. Text your name. So it's that I can know the actual spelling of your name. All right. So until then, get ready for next Shabbat work week. Thank the Creator for you joining me. All praises. May your day continue to be peaceful, restful, and relaxful. We thank you. Shalom. Peace.